Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the CH Wine Tasting Room. I'm Chris, your super sommelier for the afternoon or evening or morning, depending on when you are thinking of tasting this wine. Today we have lot 906 for you. This is a GSM blend, kind of, from Wahluke Slope. Really, this has red blend on it because there's a little bit more going on here than traditional wines from GSM regions. But this does have Grenache, Syrah, and Mourvedre as primary blending components with a little bit of extra fun in here. So we also have a touch of Viognier. That's a white grape that is very aromatic that you sometimes see in some Northern Rhone blends. And this is because it provides much needed lightness on the nose from a wine that might otherwise be dominated by black pepper. You also see a little bit of Cinsault here, which is a blending component grape that you find in the south, usually in the Southern Rhone region. Sometimes it makes it into a GSM, sometimes it ends up being something on its own, but still very interesting and an important component. Now, because this is from Washington, this also has 3% of a field blend. So at that point, we're saying who knows what else is in here, which is why we stay away from saying GSM blend completely and just say red blend on the bottle. But if you know, you know, so that's okay. Now, what I love about this area is this is Wahluke Slope. This is a region that is within the Columbia Valley, and it covers about 15% of all planted acreage. So it's a little bit more special. It's all situated on this alluvial fan, so that tends to be very good drainage, and it's about 400 meters of elevation, a little bit less than 1,000 feet generally. So that means that we've got a little bit more coolness expressed in this wine, even though we're already in a region that can be fairly cool depending on the vintage. So, let's dig in. What are we waiting for? I couldn't wait to just look at it. I had to smell it first. So let's give it a good spin. Great. So lots of red fruit on the nose. It's kind of brambly, kind of raspberry, a little bit of cranberry actually. It feels like a nice bevy of fruits. And then it's all backed up by a good dark fruit too. It's kind of leaning between blackberry and black olive, which is really nice, something savory on the nose here. There's also a light floral component to this, like we talked about, that there's a little Viognier in here, but it's not driving the bus, it is buoying the other fruit notes that you'll find in this wine. Pretty complex, good start here. Let's give it a look to the camera here so you can get a good look here. You see it is fairly dark at its core, definitely a solid ruby, but along the rim, it's a little bit lighter, and I think that this is gonna age very well, start to take on a garnet note and become even more interesting, especially as the savory notes are only just popping out of this. So there's much more depth to plum. Let's taste it. What are we waiting for? Oh, remarkable. What a complex wine. Okay, so first off, tannins are coating the top of the palate, but they feel very fine, not aggressive, very smooth. It's a great feeling of coverage on the top. I'm also noting that while I do have a bevy of fruit on the palate, particularly those ripe notes we talked about earlier with raspberry, cranberry, a little bit of blackberry, I'm also noting the savory element has amped up a little bit on the palate. Not only do I get a little black olive, I get a little bit of black pepper, and I also get a kind of charcuterie board smoked meat element here. Very common with Syrah, something I kind of expect to find. It's very happy to greet itself on the palate. It still feels a touch floral, or at least the fruit is buoyed by something that is very pretty on the nose, and it's kind of jumping out more on the palate than it did initially from the glass. So I think that means this is probably a wine to let sit for a moment and let it breathe so you can get the most out of this wine. Now, where does this very interesting wine fit in your cellar? I mean, almost anywhere you want, but I think the best place for this belongs with a cheese board, something with some cured meats, something with some dried and older cheeses, something that has an element of black pepper or black olive that'll match this and give you a seamless interpretation of how it best shows itself when it's with friends, which is to say good quality food. Wow. I'm super excited. I think that there is probably a case of this coming home with me, so I hope there's a case of this going home with you. Like I said, I think this wine will show itself best when it's had time to lie down. So give this 3 months, give it 6 months, but I think you're gonna see those savory notes come out just a little bit more. And I mean, good things come to those who wait, so why not give it a couple bottles to see? With that, I will see you at the next glass.